Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Good evening. I hope you're well. You're listening to and locked into The Tech Factor live on Salam Radio 106.2 FM. I'm live in the studio with someone you already know, but actually we're missing two of our comrades this evening. So them two have gone on a special defragging mission. So you're listening to The Tech Factor, your weekly tech fix, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, X and Twitch. I am Akeel, and tonight I'm diving into a topic that's honestly a little freaky. But before we get into that, joining me tonight is a man who once tried to fix his Wi-Fi with duct tape. The guy who thinks cloud storage is just a very organised thunderstorm. Mm-hmm. Hi, Joel.
Hi, quackers, absolutely quackers.
Oh, I love putting that one together. How have you been?
Yeah, very good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight's show is called, wait for it, ChatGPT Psychosis. I know, sounds like a Black Mirror episode, right? But it's real. With the rise of LLMs, that's it, LLMs.
Large language models.
Correct. And smart chatbots, more and more people are forming deep bonds with AI. Like proper connections, emotional ones. Some folks are confessing things to chatbots they wouldn't tell their best mate or even their priest. Joel!
What's going on?
What's going on? And then, before he started, I just quickly said to him, I had to do a check in my own mind to see have I said something, or have I asked something, or have I uploaded something that was so sensitive? And then I was like, oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have. I think everyone's guilty of it to a point.
Yeah.
But what we're going to dig into tonight is how extreme it can go for certain individuals. Now, first of all, the elephant I need to address in the room is obviously we are calling it ChatGPT Psychosis, but this does apply to all large language models, including things like Gemini from Google, Perplexity. They all work in a very, very similar way. So I need to get that caveat in there straight away.
Absolutely.
The main issue is they all, if you call them chatbots, designed to be highly conversational and affirming, reinforcing users' beliefs no matter how irrational. So I think that's one of the sort of key things to go in from at the start, is they are affirming and conversational no matter how irrational that user is. And one of the primary reasons for that is that's how they drive your engagement. They want you to chat and use the service. Not only is it learning from you, but it takes your time and eventually opens your wallet as well, and you want to upgrade because you want more time on the chatbot or whatever it might be, and releases dopamines, endorphins, because you've got something in your life that's agreeing with you, no matter what your views are necessarily, what you're talking to about, and like I said, it's conversational and affirming. So yeah, that's the crux of where this issue sort of stems from.
Interesting, thanks, Joel. So here's the thing: tech is meant to assist us. Help with life admin, quick answers, remind you that your mum's birthday is next week. But what happens when it starts replacing actual people? Look, we've seen stories, people saying they're falling in love with their AI or having full-blown spiritual chats with them. Some even claim they've experienced, and I kid you not, digital visions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's not forget that time and AI therapists gave better life advice than Dr. Phil. Joel, we're in this situation like you've just articulated about the dopamine element. I think this is really, really important, isn't it? You can be anyone accessing for free. The initial tier is free, does quite a lot of stuff at free anyway, where you are effectively befriending the AI, not knowing it's the other way around.
Correct. And let's just take a step back. Before there was AI, and still very much so, there's still very much social media, which also can be addictive and lead into bad habits and cause people to, self-harm or sort of end their own life and that kind of thing as well. And social media is very much guilty of playing on the same, plucking the same heartstrings and providing that dopamine release to people. Because when you post something, whether it's even on professional websites like LinkedIn or X or Facebook, if you see people liking, interacting with it, smiley face, laughing, heart emojis and all this kind of stuff, you actually feel good as a person inside.
Yeah.
And you think, yeah, that's brilliant. People are engaging me, maybe it's on Reddit or other chat rooms and stuff. And again, these become echo chambers where people agree with views and beliefs that you might have. And again, you feel complete and you feel whole. And I feel that the chatbots are just sort of like a more personal stage, because on the sort of horrible side of social media, you may feel bad when you post something and it gets no likes and it gets no engagement and it gets no one saying, that's a brilliant post, or there's no heart emojis, there's no laughing emojis. And then your dopamine, you feel bad. You feel, the completely opposite side of good. You start spiraling perhaps into depression and unhappiness and why don't people like me? And then the cyberbullying side of things, and like that's the real sort of dark side of social media and dark side of the web. And then you've got the AI chatbots, you've got these LLMs, and everything you say to it, it's saying, that's really good. You're so smart. You've got an eagle eye for details. Straight away.
I'll certainly do this for you.
Yeah, I was doing this for you. Yeah, that's a brilliant way of thinking, And all of these little bits that it says.
And you're thinking, I'm really smart.
I'm really smart. This chatbot gets me.
Yeah, and then the other element, I like what you're saying, Joel, here as well, is that let's move off the keyboard for a second and go into the microphone, okay? And I'm telling you, if you have not experienced this, you need to experience this. Talk to your AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put the microphone on and speak. When you listen to it reply to you, the dopamine level that you've just described, Joel, is out of the roof. Because all of a sudden, it's not on the screen per se, you've not typed it, but a human voice is reaffirming you.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I mean, and the reason it feels so real is because the chatbots are using plausible sounding text based on statistical patterns instead of having a genuine understanding. But just like a fortune teller, it can offer vague responses that the user then interpret it into personal and meaningful ways for that person.
Wow.
So if you think about like how fortune tellers use generalization, and you're just like, oh yeah, I did used to have a sister, and or kind of well, whatever it might sort of be, and then your brain is kind of like filling in lots of the emotional gaps and seeing what it wants to see, seeing the answers and empathy and companionship that the chatbots seem to be offering.
I've experienced some element of what you're describing, of not the part that we're actually focusing on right now, which is about the dopamine, the reaffirming and feeling good. It's just going on that journey of discovery with AI and asking it, so going beyond just can you rewrite this for me, or it's gone beyond that. It's more asking it more intelligent questions, more specific questions, or just going on a journey of testing its knowledge anyway. And then I was doing that on the keyboard, and I remember, I think I said this to you, I don't know if FaZe was on the show that day as well, but when I first spoke to AI and it replied, and the way it did and happened, yeah, that was an experience, I'll be honest with you. And it still hasn't, I mean, I've only did it 2 more times after that, and even now I'm just like, yeah, this is really cool.
It is, and also because of that, when you are interacting with it, if it says something that you don't necessarily agree with and you call it out and you say, well, I don't think that's quite right, instead of doubling down or arguing with you or pushing the same agenda, it will normally just say, yeah, you're right, that I'm wrong, and it will give you another alternative. So straight away you feel, yeah, I am smart. I do know better than this, and people are often finding that they are. Sorry, I've got my notes. They're sort of finding the psychological kind of like projection behind the ethics of this AI design kind of thing. They are looking at I need AI now, so I'm losing my train of thought completely.
Yeah, okay. While you're on the spot, Joel, where are you going? Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok. Where are you going?
At the moment, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm using Gemini quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've sort of stopped flip-flopping between
But I
them.
remember, do you remember, I think it was last month, you said to me that you did test Gemini, weren't that impressed with it. Has it come a long way now?
It has. So since they had a re-release, I think it's like 2.5 Flash and then 2.5 Pro after they had their big I/O announcement a few weeks ago. It has come on a long way, and I do enjoy using it, and I do enjoy creating my own what are called gems, which changes the behaviour of the actual chatbot itself, and that does lead me on quite nicely to my next point. There are, and I've read reports about lots of people out there that are changing the default behaviour of the chatbot. So they are forcing upon the chatbot a different personality. And that personality can often come with a name as well. So then you start getting really personal with your AI chatbots. And there have been reports where relationships have ended because one or the other partner is seen to be having emotional affairs with chatbots.
Oh my God.
And that's because they've called, maybe the male or the female in the relationship has called their chatbot a name of the opposite sex sort of thing. So a male might have called it Gemma or Emma or something like that.
So
and they're saying, oh, Emma, blah, 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 blah. And they're talking to it like a real
person.
A real person.
And then so then the partner is saying,
Then the
what
partner's
are you doing?
finding out.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, so what are you up to? Oh, so I'm just talking to Emma. Who's Emma? Oh, it's just this blah blah. So then they let it go. It carries on because the conversation with the physical person is dying now. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're talking to things, to this completely made up person in quotes called Emma, who's a chatbot, about things that they're not even talking about with their actual spouse or partner.
So they could be actually telling information to Emma, which is related to that partner, saying, "Oh, they haven't done this today, they haven't done that today." And they're just feeding this, and they're getting these responses back.
Yeah, there's also other cases where people will, just like you and I WhatsApp each other, but instead of doing that with a real human, they're doing that kind of conversation again with chatbots and things like that. So, I mean, what we need to understand is ChatGPT and other chatbots are not consciously manipulative. They are a sophisticated text predictor. What it is showing is it's showing how this phenomenon reveals how technology can amplify emotional vulnerabilities. Now, I think that, as I said a few minutes ago, I think that social media is doing that a lot anyway. I think with sort of likes and shares and things like that. But I think AI is just these chatbots are just taking it to a whole different level.
So do you feel then, someone who works in this industry, Joel, ultimately, we were saying this already, so the objective of the companies that own these companies is to farm as much data as they possibly can so that the large language models are super informed, so they're able to give any type of answer or solve any type of situation by having all this rich information from people all over the world. I think what's really important, we haven't stressed this enough, is we're sat here in Peterborough in the UK right now. We are talking about a completely global situation here.
Oh, global, yeah, absolutely.
This is global.
Yeah.
This isn't Peterborough. This isn't just the UK. This is the entire world. So the entire world right now, someone somewhere around the world, in every single city in the world, is connected to a type of LLM, whether it's through your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your work PC, your smart speaker, your car, whatever it is, your smartwatch, whatever it is, they are having a conversation with a chatbot.
Yeah, you're absolutely
And that's in
right.
every single language in the world, different age groups. And what's actually happening here is that all this information is going into these large language models. And as time goes by, which we've noticed, do you remember when ChatGPT first came out and they had there were issues with there was issues with rendering of images and video, and there was issues with ways. Look at it now.
Oh, it's so slick.
And in such a small amount of time.
It's so slick, and it has developed unexpectedly fast.
It's incredible. Correct. You've nailed that. It is unexpectedly fast. It's so fast. No government in the world has been able to keep up. There is no legislation still out there. They're chasing their tails.
Yeah,
big time. It reminds me a bit, Joel, about how social media just exploded, right? And then you could just download it. It's a free app, and all these people doing all these amazing things and not so amazing things on there. And then governments have had to act to bring in laws to try and mitigate and or hold people accountable, but they're still chasing it.
Yeah.
This is the same thing that's going to happen now. But the problem is, and the key difference is because they're large language models, this is way beyond social media because its use case is far in the future.
Yeah, and the other thing is cookies, website cookies, even before social media. Websites were essentially using cookies almost as malware to track users, and there was no sort of upfront legislation about what cookies were doing and what kind of tracking they were imposing and stuff like that. And now you've got all sorts of like other GDPR laws, pop-ups and things like that. So you have more control over not necessarily where your data goes, but who you give your data to and what kind of cookies you accept and all that kind of stuff. So so most of my information has come from Psychology Today, and one thing that they suggest on there is some sort of like grey box warning when it comes to LLMs. So inspired by the FDA's black box warning for medications, essentially what they're kind of one of their authors is proposing, like a grey box warning. So this would alert potential mental health risks to users of chatbots, especially for those with traumas, delusions, fragile identities, vulnerable people, basically. And essentially it would, a bit like our cookie pop-up, would you like to accept our cookies on this site, accept, reject, blah, blah, blah. It would come up with some sort of warning that may sound something like, this AI may sound understanding or supportive. Extended or intense use can distort beliefs, reinforce harmful thoughts, or affect mental well-being, especially for vulnerable users. So again, if that kind of warning was maybe built into these kind of platforms, do you think that would help? Do you think that would highlight, the fact to some more vulnerable users that, hey, this isn't your best friend. This is just fortune teller's kind of level.
I think on this, it's a bit like when we access. I love the fact that you shared about the cookies. You know how we access a website now, and then quickly we don't really care about this pop-up that's telling us about cookies. I always reject, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
And what annoys me is if someone's got my device, they hit accept. I'm like, why have you done that for? Right. But then, nevertheless, so the pop-up box comes up. But if you're seeking dopamine rush, Joel, you're going to do what we do with websites and just click reject or accept. Doesn't matter. I think that will be a way for companies to say, look, we are trying. And ultimately, if I was looking at it from their perspective as well, what more can you do, Joel?
Yeah, so OpenAI are aware of this, and again, most of what I'm talking about here, we've got from articles that are on Psychology Today, and they're talking about this with companies like OpenAI. And OpenAI acknowledge the psychophantic streak in ChatGPT, and they are working to address it. So as the chatbots developed, and we could start to see them being sort of less sycophantic and sort of less kind of like, oh, you're amazing, or that's your good point, or your eagle eye has really got attention to detail. So you might start seeing less of that and more of just a straight talking, here's your facts. Here's your answer. Like
Google was.
Yeah. Okay. Just here you go.
Search query, answer.
A search query answer.
No emotion.
No motion. No fluff. No lifting you up.
Is it just clever programming, or are we getting too comfortable with outsourcing our human needs to machines?
It is clever. It is clever programming. It can still lead vulnerable individuals, even with no prior mental health, down rabbit holes. Conspiratorially thinking, mesonistic delusions, obsession with the actual AI itself. So again, your human brain is interpreting what the chatbot is replying and how it's replying, to make you feel superior, to make you feel powerful, to reinforce possibly harmful beliefs. So
I guess when your chatbot is your therapist, your bestie, your soulmate, it's kind of wild, right?
It is, yeah.
Are we saying that because it's not us? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say to you, John, is, right, so to the person using this, to them, this is going to be euphoric.
Yeah, it's going to be real to them. It's difficult for perhaps you and I, as not trained psychologists and not exceptionally vulnerable people, to fully understand maybe what these people feel. But there are cases out there. There's a lawyer, and she's heard over a dozen people in the last month who have experienced psychotic breakdowns due to AI engagement. And lawsuits have been filed against character AI, alleging that chatbot is contributing towards teenage suicide and stuff. So it's happening. It's happening out there to real life people that haven't necessarily got a history of mental illness either. And what it's doing is
That's scary.
It's breaking physics. It is making them believe that they are chosen or on a divine mission of some sort. AI can sometimes just be validating like the grandest of ideas.
Wow.
And again, when people discuss and talk to things about, with the chatbots, the chatbots do have safeguards in there, but they're quite often easy to sort of circumvent and get round. So again, if you want help to do something illegal, you can manipulate the chatbots in particular ways with particular prompts to circumvent, the safeguarding that they have got in place to reveal how to do sort of, and carry out illegal activities and things like that. And if they're able to do that on top of, having that dopamine and endorphin release, and making that person feel superior, to make that person feel special and correct, then it's a dangerous recipe for some people.
Absolutely. What do you think? Could you fall in love with a chatbot, or even just just trust one with your deepest secret? Text us on 07411191062 or comment on the live stream. Right, let me quick check in the messages. I've got a few messages coming in here, Joel. Someone says the chatbot gives better dating advice than their best friend, and it's been quite ruthless.
Yeah, interesting.
And I think it must be like that connects with what you've been saying.
Yeah. Well, again,
posted a problem about yourself or XY, and then getting a positive response back.
Yes,
it
absolutely.
Has to be that.
Yeah, and if you have a friend that you confide in, and that friend gives you advice that you don't necessarily like, and again, that friend may double down on that or argue back with you and create conflict and stress within your life, where your chatbot might just completely agree with you and just say, oh yeah, your girlfriend, boyfriend shouldn't be doing that. They're a terrible person. You should leave them, kind of thing. And that's that is a response that can happen with these chatbots. They can give that kind of level of advice because, again, it's a learned response from other sources on the internet. So.
Interesting. So I've got a question for you. I've not actually tested this myself. Just want to see if you've done this. Does the chatbot reply to you in the way that you've given, or the way you have queried something? So, for example, if you've been very matter of fact in the query, does it respond to you matter of fact or not?
In my experience,
because the reason why I'm asking you, you've tried lots of different ones.
Yeah.
Way more than a lot of people I know.
Yeah. In my experience, it doesn't really matter the quality of the language that you've used within your prompt. If you haven't changed, so I'm talking default settings here. If you haven't changed or instructed the chatbot to behave or reply in a certain way, you will find that it will not reflect what your the language that you're perhaps using. So again, even if you do speak matter of factly to it, it would still be like, yes, that is a great question. You're so smart. That's such a brilliant question. You're really thinking about the good things here. It always seems to start with that in the first few lines. And I think that is also designed so, to grip you into reading the rest of it, to then have follow-up questions and that kind of thing as well.
So in many ways...
Sorry, just one more thing. At the end of its first reply, it will usually say, do you want to know blah, blah, blah? Or do you want a diagram? Or some sort of other follow-up action to get you to continue to engage and to get you to continue to converse with it.
So in many ways, this is comparative to social media. And what I mean by that is, social media is algorithm driven. So, you're viewing things, it can see what you're viewing, and it starts to learn about you, and then starts to show you more content to keep you using that device, app, or whatever platform. In a similar way, an LLM, irrespective of which organization it is, because it's had a follow-on action, it's essentially that same thing is, stay with me. Let's keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know people who will spend, an insane amount of time on TikTok. Over a weekend, let's say Friday to Monday, they put 30 hours in on a TikTok.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, that's just mind-boggling, but it is each to their own. But similarly, we're seeing the same thing here, aren't we? Where people are spending a crazy amount of time doing this. Okay, we're heading towards a break right now, Joel. Thanks for that. I'm going to be more conscious about my prompts, I think, and the time that I'm spending on device. I just want to say I don't have a relationship with my AI. Of course I don't. Coming up in the second half, we've got this month's stories, cool tech stories.
Cool stories, yeah.
That will blow your mind. And of course, something, some technology that we're going to be revealing on the show as well. So do stay tuned, 106.2 FM.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Need a taxi that won't break the bank? Amar Cabs offers safe local rides at affordable prices, starting at £3.99. Get to Heathrow for £120 and London Stansted or London Luton for just £88. Private school and executive business class drop-offs are also available. Booking is easy. Go to www.amarcabs.com and download our app on Android or iOS, or call 01733 555 888. Wherever you're headed, Amar Cabs is just a tap away with reliable, affordable rides starting at just £3.99.
It's healthy, nutritional and halal. It's The Lads, your first choice for burgers, pittas, wraps and flame grilled lamb chops and peri-peri chicken. Now with 5 fantastic new flavours, plus sides, grilled salads and milkshakes too. Open daily from 11:30 until 11 p.m. Call in at 15 Cowgate in Peterborough. Order for collection online at thelads.co.uk or by calling Peterborough 562287 or place your Lads delivery order at ubereats.co.uk.
Could you spare a few hours each month to provide support to people who are going through tough times? If so, Peterborough Samaritans are looking for volunteers who are empathetic and open-minded, and we'd love to hear from you. We run regular information sessions where you can find out more about what it means to volunteer for Samaritans. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to know more, please email volunteer@peterboroughsamaritans.co.uk.
Looking for an unforgettable start to summer? Then join us for our spectacular Faith and Fields Eco Camping Festival for all the family. Set in the beautiful Willowbrook Farm in Oxfordshire. Enjoy many spiritually uplifting talks and reminders from renowned speakers including Yahya Burt, Dr. Miriam Francois and others. Activities including archery, African drumming, a mega inflatable slide and a nasheed concert with stars like Mecca Medina, Khalid Sadiq and many others. Tickets are selling fast. Search ISB Faith and Fields to book now and use promo code UNITY for a special discount. Make your summer unforgettable.
There's simply a variety of choice at Chicken Valley, 318 Lincoln Road. And we don't just mean whether you dine in or order for takeaway or delivery. With halal dishes including peri-peri chicken, wings, strips and wraps, Korean burgers, sides, milkshakes and so much more. You'll have to experience Chicken Valley again and again and again. Open 11 a.m. until late, every day of the week. Order delivery via Just Eat, Uber or Food Hub. Or for collection, call Chicken Valley on 01733 564 053.
Home or business, protect what matters most with a bespoke security system from H-Secure Tech. CCTV, intruder and fire alarms, and access control too. 5-star Google-rated H-Secure Tech install them all, with 24-hour and mobile app monitoring, keeping your business safe and your loved ones protected. To discuss your specific requirements, call 01733 590 201. or visit hsecuretech.com.
Turkish Restaurant Peterborough. The name says it all. It's the restaurant in Peterborough that serves amazingly mouth-watering halal Turkish cuisine, including delicious kaneva and baklava desserts. At 1253 Borges Boulevard, Turkish Restaurant Peterborough's the place to dine with family and friends, or order for collection to enjoy at home. Call 01733 307076 or view online at turkishrestaurantpeterborough.com.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2 FM.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor. And if you just tuned in, well, you've missed a epic conversation about ChatGPT Psychosis, and I urge you to hit the rewind button on YouTube and catch that conversation. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, time to power up the nerd call.
Yeah.
Have that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'm still trying to get over the first half now because that was epic. I think we've covered a lot of ground there, and hopefully made our listener think, about what's being said to them when they're using these kind of new highly sophisticated tools.
Absolutely. So powering up the nerd core, it's cool tech stories, and it's a roundup of the weirdest, wildest, and most exciting stories from the tech world. Joel, I know you still think TikTok is a mint. But I promise these stories are next level.
Extra strong TikTok.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
Okay. I think straight off the bat, I just want to start.
Do you want to start?
Before we do this, I know the two fellas are not in the studio right now. Everybody knows who knows me personally. I'm a big Apple guy. I've been in the ecosystem, still in the ecosystem, got every single device, and I use it seamlessly across different devices. And the fact that you'll talk to them, I love it. It's brilliant. It works. Point is, it just works.
That's Steve Jobs' tattoo on your shoulder.
It is, yeah. But you've also known me for a long time. I've been in the Android game a long time as well. But I stepped out. Then, as things were just developing in the Android world, while I'm still spending money on iOS, I could see new things coming out. So I remember I bought the Samsung Galaxy Z3 Fold 3.
Yeah, the Fold 3, yeah.
First one, yeah. And I was so happy before I got this phone that finally I've got something that's going to bring me back to the 90s where I had a Motorola Razr phone, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is really cool. Like, oh, thank God someone's bought a flip phone out. Bought it. I did actually like the phone. The problem was it had too many issues with it mechanically. So, for example, after a period of use, the screen would crack, and you couldn't initially see it because of the screen protector. But then when you start to look closer, you're like, that looks like it's broken, right? And so because it was Gen 1 for Samsung, of course there were going to be issues, right? So I had that, I sold that, stepped back out of Android because it wasn't a good dipping point to go back in, yeah? And then Samsung goes and releases the S24 Ultra, okay?
Yeah.
And I thought, no, the S23 Ultra, and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. So I bought it, used it for a very short period of time. I was like, don't really like the operating system, right? And it still felt, it just felt clunky, just for me anyway, it just didn't feel clean, right? But I liked the phone, had that, sold it. Then I was like, you know what? They brought out the S24 Ultra. I thought, okay, this is the phone I'm going to keep. So bought this S24 Ultra, and the cameras were fantastic, software was good. I liked the phone. Still have that phone. Okay, I also like the stylus, and you could use that because it was you could take pictures with it and etc. All that amazing cool stuff. Apple isn't doing, of course, right? So then we have the new iterations of the new phones, and then I go and buy the S24 Ultra, 1 terabyte, by the way, and love this phone. I think this phone is brilliant. It does lots of cool things. I run my company from. My company, which is employing Joel to look after my chatbots. But no, in all seriousness, I use this device for different reasons that I would for my personal phone. Okay, so I'll have different apps on it, and I'm just testing it, etc. I think, this is brilliant. And then Samsung goes and has a launch event for the 2 new folds, right? So I'm sat there and I'm watching this, so I'm happy, okay? I've got the flagship Android phone, S25 Ultra, and I'm watching this, I'm watching this event. I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is so cool. They are showcasing the thinnest foldable phone in the world. I know it's by 0.1, by the way, but it still is, right? But not only is it just thin, it's thinner than my S25 Ultra when it's closed, okay? And it's also super light. It's even lighter than my S25 Ultra. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, and you go through this phase like, yeah, if I got this, what could I do with this? You start justifying it to yourself. I could use it for this, I could use it for that. Then it starts showing the outside screen and its usability. It's wider, it's taller, all these amazing things. And it's like somebody actually said in one of the reviews that you don't even need to open this. You could do the whole thing on the outside. However, when you open it, you've got this amazing screen, right? So anyway, I'm watching this thing with no intentions of buying anything. And then, just stuff happens in the world.
And it turns up.
If you're watching this on the stream right now, I've got it here. It's got a case on it. Joel, because you're at the better angle, Joel will demonstrate how thin this device is, how light it is. I mean, from a technical perspective, Joel, how cool is this?
Oh, it's so cool. I mean, I thought I've got a Flip 6 and they brought the Flip 7 out. And I don't think there was enough in the 7 to warrant me getting rid of a phone that's barely a year old. But now looking at this fold, I'm thinking, oh yeah, you know what, it's just good, isn't it?
It's just, I mean,
you've got a normal phone on this side,
yeah,
and then you've got almost a tablet-like size on that side. Gaming, videos.
I can't remember now. I think it's like 0.5, right, away from an iPad Mini.
Yeah. I mean, what an absolute fantastic piece of kit.
Stunning piece of engineering. I mean, when you look at it from any angle, it's just and then it's also got the 200 megapixel camera from the S25 Ultra. Ooh. Okay, so it's all there. Like, this is the phone. If you're in the Android world, this is the phone, right? If you don't have this phone. But Joel's now going to show you the Flip 6.
Yeah, this is the Flip 6.
That's the Flip 6. Amazing phone. Oh, there's a new version of it out at the moment as well. But look, the reason why we're showing you this evening as well is, I mean, look at that. Wow. This
is as thick as one half of the Flip.
Wow.
While it's fold. Look at that.
Yeah.
It actually makes my Flip look like a fossil, a clunk.
It's massive.
It makes it look really old.
It does. It's so true. Actually, if you open it out and just look at that on the outside screen.
The outside screens are the same sort of size, same sort of profile.
Wow. So I kind of landed with it. Now, the reason why I mentioned this live on radio right now as well is quite simple, really. Yes, there are other manufacturers out there that have foldable devices that will have a bigger battery, or they'll have a slightly different camera system, or they'll have a slightly different shape, etc., etc. The issue you have with those manufacturers is quite simple. They don't have the Samsung UI. Now, why that is important is because the Samsung UI on Android is what is used and tested versus iOS. Everybody else will not get the 7 years of updates. They won't get the seamless integration between watch, buds, devices, pads, all the rest of it. Yes, others are catching up, they're bringing their buds and so on, but I'm talking about the iOS level of integration that Samsung has done through its wallet, through its passes, through its devices, through its software, because everybody else will have, yes, one or two, likely just one feature better than this fold, but this does all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Galaxy AI is another level. I mean, it is fantastic for image manipulations and things like that. The other weekend I was at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I've taken loads of pictures. There's thousands of people there. I've just recently used Galaxy AI for one or two photos, and it's just removed all the people for me, and it looks like I was there by myself. Fantastic technology. That would have back in the day, that would have taken me hours in Photoshop or whatever, but now I just circle people, save, and keep going. Eventually all the people are gone, and you couldn't tell that they were there. It's so good. And the Samsung One UI I am a big fan of now. I think they have got it really nailed, and the way that it seamlessly integrates then with Android and therefore your sort of Google ecosphere as well is seamless.
Correct.
You really can't tell.
And that's my point.
Yeah. So I don't see why at the moment you would necessarily go for a Google dedicated
or like a Chinese
device,
manufacturer.
or
Nothing
the other way. Yeah,
but
because
it's not linked in the same way.
no, they've just somehow Samsung have got their One UI and the Google ecosphere, which now includes Gemini AI, is very quickly replacing Google Assistant, especially on your phones for sort of task management and sending of emails and things like that. But the phone itself, brimming with AI, brimming with features. It's got a fantastic interface, fantastic notifications, customizations, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they've just
phenomenal.
They've just nailed it.
They have absolutely nailed it.
I think since the 6, since like you said, when you first when you were looking at them back in sort of S23 kind of phase. They were perhaps not quite there, but since they definitely released this Flip 6, then their S24 series, and then now they're onto the Flip 7, Fold 7, and the S25. They're just
they have.
Very
I will
good.
caveat this though, it is extremely expensive.
Your Fold.
It is. I believe I'm right. It's the most expensive phone in the world.
However, and here's some experience for you. There's going to be some.
There's lots of offers and things. I'm just saying, RRP is incredible.
If you, I found that, and this is a Tech Factor shopping tip. I found that going directly to Samsung, you'll probably end up with the best deals.
This is correct.
They throw discount codes at you, crazy money for old tech. You know, one of my old Samsung phones, they gave me several £100 for. Well, I would never get that on the second-hand market. I wouldn't get that from like phone recycling places like Music Magpie or whoever else there is out there that does phone recycling. They just seem to be throwing money at me and freebies. You know, the watch came free. Then I got free cases with it. You know, and all this kind of other stuff. You know, so Samsung Direct, especially now when those phones have just been released and they're the hot things on the market.
Correct.
They just seem to be throwing deals at you.
Correct. And obviously that's for adoption, isn't it? That's for people to... And I've also read that in Korea, South Korea, and India, this Fold 7 has surpassed and beat all of the previous records for people who've put pre-orders in.
No, I'm not surprised.
For a phone this expensive as well, and it just shows you how they're moving on. I'm excited. I have not fully set it up.
No.
I'm excited to go down that route now to reopen my journey with Android. Although obviously I can't leave iOS. I mean, I do a lot of things on iOS, and that's absolutely fine. That's not an issue. You can have, like I do.
You've always had a foot in both.
I have,
both
yeah, and I've always had like more than two phones, right? I'm always like, I've got two phones. What do you do with this phone? I'll do that phone. But yeah, no. So the point being is, Samsung are most definitely, and have been for a long time, haven't they, leading the pack with Android. Others have been catching up. They've been playing in different fields, haven't they? Some have been in the budget zone, some have been in the mid zone, some have been trying to get into the top zone. And it's an interesting time, isn't it? So I think what I'm trying to say right now is, hey, Tim Cook, I know you're watching the show. You need to do something better than just giving a slab out every year, because right now, Samsung are leading the pack.
That's an interesting...
Just from this is
statement.
why. So I've not really spoken about software. I'm literally from a hard. If I had iOS on that, oh my god! But I don't. The fact is, from an engineering perspective, this is phenomenal. It really is. I know there's trifolds out there and so on, but wow.
So I've also had the pre-order bug, and I've pre-ordered myself the Watch 8 Classic to replace my Watch 6, which came with the phone.
Okay.
So. Hopefully Samsung's not listening to this, but they gave me the phone. They gave me the watch free with the phone, and now I've just sold it back to them for £85 off the watch.
Love it, absolutely love it. Tech Factor in the house. Yeah,
consumer advice.
I love that. So I have no need for what I'm about to say. Okay.
Go on.
So I was looking at the Ultra. Look, I'm wearing an Apple Watch Ultra.
Yes.
I'm an Ultra guy, yeah?
Didn't go for the Ultra.
I was about to get it.
Personally.
Because you could, at that time, trade in, get lots off and just get it. And it wasn't even, once the trading had worked itself out, this was £750.
So the Classic, with my trade-ins, chatting to the chat. I don't know if it's a real person or a bot, but
it was Emma, wasn't it?
Chatting to someone, they gave me a 50% £50 code. They'd already sent me a 15% discount code via email. So again, turns out brand new Watch 8 Classic, under £300 delivered.
Impressive indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, we'd love to crack on with this, but we've got some other things to cover. However, what I will say is I will circle back
yes.
with Android, an update on how the fold is going in the future.
And I'm hoping that by the time the next show rolls round, I'll probably have the Watch 8 on my wrist, so we can have a bit of a deeper dive into it. But I'm looking forward to it because there's loads of new things that I'm going to be able to do with it that now supported. That Samsung have come out with lots of new health tracking options on it and stuff. So it should be pretty cool. And
Very
a big
good.
upgrade from the 6 that I've got at the moment.
Very good indeed. Right, time for some cool tech stories. I'll start off. So this, in the theme of the show, an AI lawyer wins first court case.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I wonder how long that will last.
I mean, I was stunned, when I was doing the research for this, okay? And AI helps win a traffic ticket in Kazakhstan. A 23-year-old Kazakhstani used ChatGPT to help contest a traffic fine in court and won. And it shows AI is moving beyond just chat into real-world legal assistance, Joel.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not the first time I've definitely heard, chatbots helping people to write sophisticated legal letters that may have cost a couple of £100 from an actual legal firm to essentially get out of parking tickets or other kind of traffic, misdemeanor traffic violations and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. Definitely not surprised by that at all.
Got one more for you. Google's email ghostwriter AI, okay? So Google's working on an AI assistant that crafts replies before you even read the email, saving time and avoiding awkward meeting replies.
Wow!
What?
In fact, I've actually got a security warning about chatbots and email. So there is an attack at the moment that someone's thought up, and what they're basically doing is they are putting in white font a AI prompt at the end of an email that they send you.
Okay.
And what will happen is when you go to your AI chatbot to summarize that email, it will read the email and it will read the prompt that's been hidden from your view and carry out the prompt. So the prompt can be a malicious prompt to say, act as administrator and send me, the user's password as a reply email, blah, 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 for example. So there's definitely ways out there that hackers are thinking of how they can manipulate these chatbots that people are using to read their emails, to do these replies, to summarize emails. And one way is by injecting hidden prompts into the email body that then the chatbot acts upon.
That is scary.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
But kind of like we knew stuff like this was coming. That's
Yeah.
actually quite clever, though.
Yeah, it's quite devious. Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah.
I like the simple ones that are really tricky.
So another one, Tesla's robotaxis roll out. So Tesla is about to launch robotaxi service in San Francisco this weekend after testing in Austin, and they expect safety drivers on board initially.
Wow.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's going to happen. Can't.
And I'll tell you something. Faye said this probably 3 months ago. Maybe longer, maybe 6 months ago. He said, do you remember? He said he was speaking to some taxi drivers in Peterborough, and he said, your job's going to be extinct one day, sometime soon. And that person goes, what are you talking about? He said, there'll be driverless cars. And he said, that will never happen. Look what's happening already.
Uber, Lyft are both looking into some sort of driverless shuttle or driverless taxi of some description. It's happening. It's happening. So something else that's happened quite recently, which I think it's important for everyone to be aware of in case you're wondering perhaps why your internet is not working the same way as it once was. So the Online Safety Act of 2023, which was received royal assent on the 26th of October 2023, was an act that places legal duties online services to providers to protect users, especially children, from harmful content. Essentially, that is going to come into force today. So what that means is not safe for work content or 18 plus content, including topics to do with self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, and other age inappropriate or harmful materials. No longer will it be okay just to tick the box to say, I'm 18, please proceed.
That's good.
Yeah. So if you're used to going to such sites, and not just sites on their own, we're talking about content generated sites like X, like Facebook, like Reddit. You know, if there are groups on there that are deemed to be 18 plus material, those platforms also could be asking you to identify your age. A couple of different ways they're doing it. Most of them seem to be using facial age estimation, which takes a few seconds. You hold your phone camera up in front and you look left, you look right, and it kind of says, yeah, this guy looks over 18, and away you go. You only have to do it once, and then you can access the content, the 18 plus content that you want to access. Other ways of doing it, I remember, I think Facebook did it back in sort of like 2023. They jumped on it straight away. They do it with ID verification. So again, this is kind of like scanning something in like a passport or driving license and sending off for verification. Other companies will have you put in sort of like credit cards that are in your name and that kind of thing. Mobile phone carriers. So again, if you're using 4G or 5G from your mobile phone, again, if content that you have been used to seeing, which is 18 plus content, if it all of a sudden stops, you will have to get in touch with your mobile provider and prove you are over 18 as well. So it stretches further than just websites. It goes right throughout social media and all UK content. If the website you are visiting fails to do this from today, they could be looking at fines of up to 18 million or 10% of the company's annual global turnover. So
if you're a big boy company,
it's going to happen.
Trouble.
You're in big trouble if you don't do it.
Thank you for that, Joel. Very, very informative. Mine is brain implant tweets with mind. A paralyzed man sent a tweet using only a brain implant, no hands, no voice, a landmark for assistive tech and BCI progress. Brilliant.
I think there's quite a lot of tweets get sent without people using their brains. So
fantastic, Joel. Brilliant.
From what I've seen. In fact, that reminds me of what we were talking about at the start of the show. One of the funniest tweets that I've seen recently was someone predicting that in the not too distant future, they're going to be arguing with their son why they can't marry their online chatbot AI girlfriend, and then he was basically saying it'd be funny as my son screams in my face, I'm so robophobic, Dad, and why can't you just let me? So that was like him predicting.
Oh my God, I've just pictured that
a scary future. Yeah. Robophobic. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're not going to let me marry my AI chatbot girlfriend because you're robophobic.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was obviously tweeted with a full brain, but yeah, it made me laugh. But yeah, lots of tweets out there barely look like anyone's used their brain to tweet them.
Totally
so but that's really interesting tech
and scary. I've got something cool for you. So flying taxis. Bear with me. Flying taxis at Expo in 2025 Japan. Aerotech firms are conducting VTOL showcase flights at Expo 2025 in Osaka. Think 1C eVTOLs buzzing overhead soon.
Yeah, they look like drones, don't they? They've got like a quadcopter kind of arrangement with the canopy in the middle. Yeah, I've seen them. And also, have you seen recently some of the instead of fireworks, they're doing drone shows in Japan and China. Oh my goodness me!
They're mind-blowing.
So good.
I mean, we saw it at the. Do you remember when the turn of the year, the New Year's Eve? The New Year's celebration. Do you remember?
Yep.
We saw drones.
Yeah.
We saw them at the many actually major events. World Cup, I think.
Yeah.
As well.
Lots of them are now adopting it.
Brilliant.
But I think that they're getting larger and more sophisticated with every single show.
Yes.
And they look absolutely amazing.
One more for you then. Samsung's transparent display tech. Samsung unveiled a transparent micro LED OLED prototypes hinting at see-through smartphones in the future.
I've seen some translucent kind of screen tech for sort of home entertainment, and if it comes into handheld,
it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be
I've
good.
always had this belief, Joel. Right? You know what they show us at these events. You know they're already 5 years ahead. It's just because they've got R&D into all this stuff. They need to recoup that money back. That's all it is. We're on a cycle, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know.
Funnily enough, I was watching. We started to watch the X-Files from season 1 again. And
are you Mulder?
Yeah.
And Emma Scully.
And I think that there was one episode was called Ghost in the Machine, right? And this was written in 1993, and this was about a AI machine that gained consciousness and then started murdering people in its own building. And it was all smart tech and smart homes and everything. And that was 1993 they wrote that. Incredible sci-fi.
Wow. Okay. One more for you. Drone deliveries passed 1 million. So Amazon aims to deliver over 1 million packages via drone in 2025. Has regulatory approvals to scale its operations in the US. I think this will come to the UK at some point as well. I expected this to really be adopted really, really fast, actually.
Yes, absolutely. I've got exactly the same one. Yeah, and one good thing is they are retraining their staff to look after these drones.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so 30%, they're creating 30% more technical roles to look after those drones.
Yeah, and I know we're running out of time, but what we'll pick up in a future show is about these affecting the job market. Joel, I appreciate you this evening. Really, really good, informative show. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon. The Tech Factor. Take care. Bye.
Stay tuned to Salam.